Your shirt is bigger than my furniture. Really? Do you fit in that furniture too? Can it be one time when this guy doesn't make a reference to drinking? No. Perhaps you should dress up as a bottle of beer. That way your transformation will be completed. Alright. That's right, it's that time of the week. I am Jaime Rivera. This is Pocket Now, and this is the Pocketnow Daily Recap for last week. On Monday, I asked you if you ordered any of the Nexus devices, which one and why, as we had dates for the launch of the Nexus 5X on October 22nd, which was 2 days ago. We had 682 comments we start with. I didn't buy a Nexus. I would never buy a phone just after it's launched. You need to have reviews, and yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, and so far so good with those from Michael. I watched Seinfeld. Good for you. I ordered the Nexus 5X because of the size. I have 2 tablets, so I don't need a phablet. And yeah, I have a tablet, but then again, there is certain added functionality that phablets do provide that, yeah, you're right, Nexus devices don't, so you do make a solid point there. It probably doesn't make sense. I have my eyes set on the Nexus 6P simply because the design is to die for, and of course the large battery pushing that 2K display, and so far Michael's impression of the Nexus 6P is really positive. We didn't actually expect to love a Huawei phone this much, but the company has done an amazing job, and yeah, can't wait to give mine a try. On Tuesday, I asked you if you would be interested in a modular smartwatch, as the Blocks project has a full campaign on Kickstarter for a modular smartwatch. We had 544 comments we start with. That makes total sense. Your smartwatch will never get outdated, and true, and it does make a lot of sense when it comes to watches in particular because you're not buying one every year. It's gonna fail like Project Aura. No one wants to worry about carrying modules or blocks or whatever you can call them. Well, Project Aura hasn't really failed. It hasn't really launched, by the way, but think about it. In the case of a smartwatch, you won't be carrying around modules. They're part of the bracelet, so I feel that it won't necessarily happen the way you think. Seems like there's always a sensor or something like that missing on the smartwatches I want. So now I can get the GPS, heart rate monitor, and all the other fitness tracking in one package. Seems legit. Let's just see how that battery life performs with all those modules, buddy. Wednesday was about Huawei and Lenovo. We had some market share figures, and even though Samsung and Apple are still at the top, they are on decline, and Huawei and Lenovo are on a rise. I asked you, what do you think they're doing right? We had 595 comments we start with. Price, that's what they're doing right, and yeah, it's hard to argue with that, but they're not the only ones, by the way. Huawei, design and price. Lenovo, value for the money, and you know, you're right, particularly what Lenovo is doing with Motorola. They're adding more value and reducing the price tag. I think that, yeah, there's a solid point there. Samsung losing low and mid-range market. Apple losing to Samsung because of the 6S model looking the same as the 6. Unfortunately, the only way you can tell others that you got a new iPhone is by buying the other iPhone, pale pink. And sorry, not all your comment is on spot, but I did pick it particularly because of what you mentioned. Samsung is losing on the lower end market to these companies because these companies are being more aggressive about price points and great design, and Samsung is still being really cheap about it. So that part of the comment I do agree with. Thursday was about iPhones. We had more market share figures. There is dominance with the iPhone, and I asked you, even though iPhones are not the most loved phones, why are they so popular? We had 1,602 comments. Thanks a lot, guys. We start with, you at least get updates on the iPhone. I have received 2 updates to my Galaxy S5 in 1.5 years, and yeah, the software update part is terrible with Android, but I don't think that's the major selling point for iPhones. Why do they sell? They are popular and are simple to use, plus they are way more reliable, and yeah, it would be easier for me to recommend an iPhone to a friend than any other Android phone, not necessarily because Android phones are bad, they're just more difficult to learn. You have a point there. In my opinion, iPhones are more like fashion statements more than anything. Apple managed to make their hardware and software look like they are both simple and yet elegant. 2 characteristics in general consumer love about them, and yeah, that's the thing, the world is made out of general consumers. The geeks like us are actually just 10 to 20% of the market. So I think that Apple did a smart job in appealing to the general consumer. You have a solid point there indeed. And finally, Friday, we had some last statistics from teenagers that were rather interesting. They are interested in iPhones, but they don't care about the Apple Watch. And I asked you, why do you think people don't really care much about the Apple Watch anymore? And well, we have 1,206 comments. Thanks a lot, guys. We start with, because it's an overpriced, stupid watch. It's not a stupid watch, but it is overpriced, I agree. Well, the iPhone is already expensive, and then you throw it an expensive watch to go with the phone. Add that up and you get around $1,200 roughly, and true, you need an iPhone to be able to use the Apple Watch, and if I were a teenager and I had to pick, then definitely I'd rather have the iPhone without the watch than anything else. Why is there no interest? I'll answer with another question. What does it have that the average teenager wants? And dude, this is probably the best comment of the week, and I'd love to end the video with this and ask you guys in the comments, why do you think that the Apple Watch is not popular, and what does it have that would appeal to teenagers? Because you have a point there. I don't see anything appealing to teenagers, except for the fact that it's a cool gimmick that you'll carry on your wrist, but then again, an expensive one indeed. Please leave us a comment down below. That's it for the Pocketnow Daily Recap. Thank you very much for watching. A couple of tips if you want your comments to be featured. Number 1, keep them short. Number 2, stick to the point. Number 3, try to get some thumbs up. It helps us spot them a lot easier. You can also follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You can follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera, or on Instagram at Jaime Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week.